Hello everyone, this is Tina from Tina's Workshop, and this is a project I've talked a little bit about in some of my update videos, and I've been really excited about doing this one, but it's been a little bit of time in the making. I am planning to crochet an alpaca amigurumi out of alpaca yarn that I made myself. So I started this whole project kind of started about 8 months ago. I went to an alpaca farm, which I am planning to go to in about a month when they're shearing and do a video from there. But I had gone up there after they had been shearing, and I bought some alpaca fiber. I got some wakaya and some suri, and they mostly have suri there, but they've got a couple regular wakaya alpaca. And I got to meet all the animals while I was there and everything. And the wakaya that I bought was from an alpaca named Autumn, and it was her fur from April of 23. And this bag was very, very packed full after I washed it. There was a little bit more, you pick some stuff out, you wash it, and I had it completely. I mean, you can see I busted the bag open. I had so much into it. So I've been slowly working on this. Here is the beautiful cleaned fiber, but you can see there's still some VM in it, some vegetable matter. So as I comb that, that's when I get all that kind of stuff out. So I started first, I did actually card some on the drum carder first, and then I spun that. But I did not like the consistency from that. You can see how that's kind of lumpy and bumpy, and that was because my carded bat had these lumpy, bumpy areas that just didn't come out as smooth as I would have liked. So then I decided to comb it. So I used the comb and I combed all the fibers on it, and then used the Diz to take it off into a nice bit that I could then have. I made these little nests of it, and then I could take this and spin it and had a nice consistent amount I was using. So when I did that, this is, hold on, came undone. This is a piece I finished. But I've been working on this for a few months. I'd sit there at night and work on combing it. But you can kind of see how much more consistent. There we go. That had come out. So I did 200 and my tags here somewhere. I think I did like 267 yards or something like that of what I spun up. And I showed that in one of the other videos, and I got it all caked up today, so you can see how much more consistent this just looks. So it's so pretty, this pretty chocolate brown. And then as you're combing that, you get these little short bits and stuff that come off in this whole process. And you'll set aside, you might do a second combing, or you might card it. You can do different things to utilize those bits and not always have to throw them away. There's some bits you'll get off that are just too short to do much with. But anyway, as I saved those bits that came off, I've been saving them into another bag, and I plan to use this as the stuffing. So that way, unlike when I did the camel, I used wool when I stuffed the camel, and it's kind of a white cream color, and you can actually see it through the holes. So if I use this to stuff it, it's the same stuff, and you're not going to notice it so much. So that's my plan. So I'm going to crochet the alpaca and stuff it with alpaca. So I found this cute little pattern, and I'm really hoping that this is going to work out. I actually found a number of different patterns, and I looked at different ones, and a lot of them are using two different fibers to create this fluffy coat on it, and or they'll do loops onto it and stuff for the fluffy coat. But I am just using this because I'm wanting it to just be the alpaca. And then when I go to the alpaca farm, when they shear, I would like to take it with me and take a picture. Well, take a picture of Autumn with the little tiny Autumn, but I would also have that in the video. So, but I think it would be neat to take it with me. I want it to be more like her. And so this is the pattern I ultimately had settled on. I thought it was absolutely adorable. Did that focus? I bought it on Etsy, and it is by Angelina Terrini. I'm not saying that right. Anyway, I will put a link to the pattern down below. And she used sport weight and bulky. So on like the facial features and things like that, she used the sport weight, but then this fluffy, she used the bulky. The yarn that I made, I think, is going to be more of a worsted. Yeah, it's kind of a, yeah, it's more of a worsted. So I don't know if I want to, I'm thinking I might go up hook size. Let's see, she used 1.75 millimeter for crocheting alpaca and 1.5 millimeter for crocheting the cheeks, which I don't know if I'll put the cheeks on. So they're little tiny pink cheeks. So I don't know if I'll do the cheeks or not. But I'm thinking I'm going to go up a little bit in my hook size because my yarn is a little bit thicker. Let's see, sport weight is 12 wraps per inch, and a worsted is 9 wraps per inch. So, but then she doesn't seem to change hooks when she switches to the bulky, I don't think. Yeah, I don't see anything that she's changing hooks, so she's still using that on the bulky. So I'm going to do this. Now, another thing she did too, she actually put the little, I just lost the word for it, the little thing in the neck so that the neck could turn. And I'm probably not going to be doing that because I don't have that. I think there are ways I can make it, but I still don't know if I'm going to do that. I'm thinking I'm just going to work it in one solid piece. So but that is a very, very tiny hook. I mean, you can see the hook right there. And I think if I remember correctly, there was a little video, because the way this is on here, it actually says it's a 1.75 millimeter. And I'm like, okay, I don't know if that's different because that's just really, really tiny. And I watched the video to freeze it on the hook in her hands, trying to figure out what it was. And I forget what I figured out because I obviously did not write it down on here. So I might have to go back and check that again. And I'm not planning to do the little saddles or anything. I really want to try and stick with just using alpaca. I have a few other colors of alpaca. I have white, I have a black, I have some Surrey that is like maybe a cream and a different color brown and stuff like that. So I'm planning that any other bits of color that I do on this, whether it be in the face and the ears or even down in the feet, I want to use all alpaca. So the whole thing is done in alpaca. So I should have enough of this now though. And when I did this, I used maybe a third of this bag. So there's still a lot of alpaca in here. And like I said, I haven't even touched the Surrey yet that I got. And the Surrey was a double colored fleece. So I've actually separated it because I didn't want to blend it together. I wanted to use those bits separately. And then I have a whole bunch of white alpaca that I haven't spun that still needs combed. And same with the black I have. And I have some other kind of silvery Surrey. So I have a lot that I can spin, not to mention just a whole bunch of other stuff I have anyway. But when I go to use some of these others, 4 bits for this, it's such a small amount. I can comb just a tiny bit and spin it real quickly to use for what I'm wanting to use it for. So that's what I'm planning to do. And I will show bits and pieces of this as I'm working on it. I won't make you watch literally everything because it's not a tutorial. It's not my pattern. It's just something I'm doing and I want to share with you. So I will record some of it as I work. I will probably fast forward through some of it too, so it's not so long. And then I will come back at the end with my finished product. So I can't wait to share that with you. I can't wait to see it myself. So see you in a bit. So you may have noticed I ended up going off book on this pattern. I followed through for the most part the pattern on the head. There was a couple things I tweaked a little bit, and I decided to wait on the facial features until the end. I'm actually think I'm going to needle felt them instead of stitching them on. So the head, though, for the most part, was the pattern. But then when I started on the neck and I had gotten this much of the neck done, and I'm looking at the pattern, wasn't completely making sense to me how they were doing it. Then I pulled up her video that kind of helped at that point, and I'm like, okay, I kind of see what she's doing, but I still didn't really care for the way it was done. So I started to kind of do my own thing. So I printed out a picture of Autumn, and I have been using that to figure out my shapes. So this is the neck. So we've got the head, we've got the neck. I don't know which way I'll put the head when I'm done, but so I've got a curvature here for this bottom part. And then what I'm going to do now is actually start a piece from this end working this way. And then I'm leaving this open because I'm going to put the two pieces together and stitch them. Then I'm going to make the legs and stitch them on. And when I'm totally done with all that, oh, and its tail, can't forget its tail. But then I will do the hooves and the face and the little tuft of hair on the top. I'm going to do all that needle felting when I'm all done. So stay tuned, keep watching. We'll see how this goes. Well, I just recorded this and then looked down to stop recording and started recording. So I'm guessing this didn't record, but here is our little alpaca. So here's Autumn, and here is the real Autumn. And I am mostly happy with how she has come out so far. There's some aspects I'm not too sure about yet, but we will now add our details. We've already got the little heel detail here, and I need to add the tail, do the facial features and the little top knot, and then decide if I want to add anything else to it. So let's get started. So I got to this point. It's okay. It's a little fluffy head. But the only problem is when you look at the whole thing, he looks kind of funny. And I was doing his body to look like this one, which is fine, but with the head from the other pattern, that didn't work because if you notice, the nose comes out here and his nose is flat. So I was on my crafting Zoom this morning talking to some of the ladies, and one of them gave me a good idea because I had thought about adding a piece here. For some reason, I didn't think about this because I thought about taking this whole head off, making a new head, bringing it down on the neck a little bit more and stuff. But I didn't think about adding a piece for the nose. So this is what I am considering doing. Put this on here, and I want to shape it kind of like this, and then do my needle felting onto it so I can accent it properly. Then this might, hopefully, look a bit better. But I'm not going to know until I get that on. So that is what I'm working on now. Well, I finished it. There was a few things that didn't quite go the way I had wanted them to, but in the end, I'm happy with it. I started off with the pattern and completely went off book by the time I was done with it. So I will still link that pattern below because it is a cute pattern, but it's not what I ended up with. The only part I actually followed the pattern on was the head. And by the time I was done, even that was different. I completely altered it and changed the way it looked. So totally went off book. It was totally free form. It took longer than I thought it was going to, but I'm happy with it in the end. It is still completely alpaca. Um, all the colors, everything, the filling, it's all alpaca. The only thing that's not alpaca is the plastic eyes and the wire inside. So there is the original Autumn. And here is my finished Autumn. Oh, I want to focus on her, not me. There we go. So I will insert a picture I took of her so that you don't have it with all of my background and stuff. But yeah, I was going to add a piece here because I thought it needed that, which I ended up not doing, but I hadn't thought about the fact I was going to take the whole head off and redo it. Instead, I added the piece here onto the face to give it the long drawn out face, because I ended up going more for the realistic look here, which we didn't have in the face. So I wanted that pronounced face that she has there. So I've got her fluffy little tail, it has the needle felting on it. The hooves all were needle felted to be black. Of course, all the fluff here is all needle felted. Facial features, the extra little shadowing in the face was needle felted. Stop focusing on me. And then I went back. If you remember, the inner ears were light in color, but Autumn's are not light in color. So I went back and added the dark into the eyes, into the ears, and around the eyes and the face and everything. I did leave the little bit of highlight that was under the eyes, though I did outline in the black. I left the highlight and I added a highlight in the nose. But otherwise, oh, and then even with the wire in the neck, she kept falling forward. So I actually pulled that back and then stitched it here, which made her neck appear a little bit shorter, which I wanted, and is keeping it upright. So I'm much happier with that. And then I actually did something similar in the legs and ran a stitch down to about here and back up and pulled it to kind of cinch it to keep the legs where I wanted them. So that is my little alpaca. She will stand. Now she's going to try and prove me wrong. There we go. She will stand. So her legs are not extremely strong, so she does kind of want to slide a little bit, but for the most part she does stand. So I'm really happy with how she came out. I can't wait to actually bring her out and take a picture of her next autumn. I think that would be really cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and make sure and click the like, click subscribe, and notify if you'd like to be notified when I upload. I try to upload about once a week. I do have a Facebook group. We're still very small, but there is a Facebook group that you can come join, and we can talk about things that I've got on my videos. If you do something that I've done, you can share pictures. If you have some other project you want to share and ask questions or anything like that, it's just a place we can go and we can chat. So make sure and go and join that. All the links are down below for all those different things. So hope you enjoyed this. And we've got something new coming out each time. So things to look forward to. And we'll see you all again soon. Bye.